Yo, what up guys, Brix5D here, and I have a champion guide or champion spotlight for you today. A barbarians faction from the epic category called Skytouched Shaman. Yes, she's a barbarian and she's been around in the game for a while, so a lot of people do know of her abilities and skills. So if you're just getting this champion for the first time, in this video I'm going to be showing you where to use her, how to build her, do some tests, some live action so you can see her in battles, and different ways you can actually use her, and maybe one or two ways what she brings to the team that I do not like. I'll also be criticizing her a little bit. So first of all, you should know that this champion is a healer. Right there in the support category, that's where she belongs. So she's not going to be bringing a huge amount of damage to your teams. That's the first thing you should know. So she's just there for the healings. Now, besides just the healing, one of her major skills that a lot of people want to use in battle is this A2 right here. It removes all debuffs from all allies. That's a full team cleanse, right? So whatever decrease defense, decrease attack, fear, all that stuff that the enemies have placed on your teams, she's gonna cleanse everything off and places block debuff buff on your allies, and also a revive on dead buff on your allies for 2 turns. Now, block debuff buff is one of the most useful buffs that you want to have in the clan boss. So in early game clan boss like the brutal or nightmare, she might be your first champion you have that has this block debuff buff on a 4-turn cooldown. Is totally fine. If you do not have Sepulchre and others who do it better, she can also serve that purpose on your team to do the cleanse and place this block debuff buff for 2 turns. But that's not where she's best known for. Instead, the revive on dead that you see right there is one of the buffs that made her now useful in 2022-2023. It shot her value up, skyrocketed her to the most top champions a lot of people want to use in the Sand Devil Necropolise, because that boss hits so hard. So if you cannot revive yourself on death, you will not be able to continue the battle, right? So she's one of the champions that her value just became, you know, extremely high, and that's what made me bring her out of my vault, because I wanted a champion that will place revive on death on my allies, so when they go down by that boss big hits, they can just revive themselves from death again. That's where a lot of people use her right now in 2023. But she's also very valuable in the clan boss also because of this skill, because I mean in the arena, because whenever you put a bunch of debuffs on your allies from the enemies, I mean, she can just go in there and cleanse it, just like a Mitrala Life Bane will do in the PvP content. She's also very valuable. I'll test her out in all this content so you can see this in action. So her A1 also brings a heal. Now, this skill does not bring any heal, right? It just does the cleanse and places a revive on dead. There's no heal on this A2 skill, but the A1 is the skill that does a lot of healing for her or for your entire team, because it's kind of 15% of the damage inflicted, which is not a lot. So if she does a little bit of damage, the more she does this A1, the more healing you get. Of course, if her turn meter is higher than 50%, she will not do the heal. Instead, she'll do a turn meter boost for herself instead, which makes her take more turn. So she does have damage increase right here on her A1, which is kind of tempting you to put a lot of crit damage and crit rate and attack on this champion. No, you really want to pump a lot of HP on her. Why? Because of her passive. So this passive kind of is the part where I don't like about this champion. She damages herself by 10% of her max HP. So let's say she's at 100k HP, right? That's what you build her with. If she damages herself by 10k HP, 10%, right? She will give half of that HP to the allies. So all your allies will get 5k. So that's the message that this whole text is saying right there. She takes 10% damage at the start of each turn. It happens each turn. She heals all allies except herself, equal to half of the champion's current lost HP. Yeah, so her current lost HP, well, I don't think it's going to be the 10%. I think it's going to be what is left out of her HP. So if the more HP she loses, I guess the more heal she's gonna be. This heal is huge and it happens every turn. So this is what she does to keep your enemies alive, I mean to keep your team alive. And passive heals is a great way to do healing for your team. You don't always want to rely on active heals, because if the enemy is stunned or provoked or whatever, then there's no healing. But that's why champions like Doom Priest is so awesome, because they have passive healing. So that's not all. She also does some self-harm, like I said. decreased speed she places on herself whenever this passive comes around, and also has a 50% chance of placing a fear debuff on herself for 1 turn. So that's the part I don't like about this champion. Just for using this, she'll just do this stuff on herself. But I hope even with the passive, even with the fear on her, this passive will still proc the next time, even if she loses her turn. Remember, true fear is the one that makes you miss your turn when you don't get to take the turn, but fear will still allow this skill to be available even if she misses it. So you might want to use some masteries that will allow her to put a block debuff buff on herself whenever that fear falls off or something. So she does have an aura of what? That's HP in all battles by 25%. That's a huge amount of HP in all battles. Normally we see 15%, 20%, but really not seeing 25% on an epic champion. So that's in all battles. It's extremely useful if you need more HP in your team. All right, let me head over to my Skytouched Shaman to show you how I built her, what artifact sets you might want to put on her, the best one for her. Like a support champion or any healer in Racial Alliance, you want them to go fast. You want them to take a lot of turns, and that's why I put Relentless set on this champion. So the more turns they take, the more healings they do. Remember, her healing is from her passive, right? So she can take 1 turn and take 1 turn again. That's what Relentless set does. You have an 18% chance, right? 18% chance to get an extra turn. So that's what this Relentless piece is. If you're new to raid, you don't yet have good Relentless piece that can give you good speed, right? Go for speed set. Triple speed set is fine for this champion. She does not need accuracy on any of her builds from what you saw from all her skills, right? No accuracy needed. She's not landing any debuffs on the enemy. So this gives her an opportunity to build a lot of speed into her stats, right? So if you click right here on my banner, you see me using HP right here on the chest. I'm using defense right here. The amulet I'm using should be HP too, right? HP. And on the ring I'm using, did I click on it? No, defense right here. So I'm trying to build her with a mixture of HP and defense, so she is not the champion that goes down in battle, because she's supposed to be healer and supposed to stay alive long enough for her to, you know, keep everybody else alive. So right now you'll be thinking, where is her healing coming from then if she's not going to be healing herself from that skill? Her healing might be coming up from somebody else who you have in the team. But by putting an immortal set on her, maybe a 2-piece immortal set, you can get some healing on herself. That's always recommended on a champion like this who will heal everybody but not themselves. All right, that's the sets I put on her. Like I said, speed set is also fine if you want to build this champion. If you're using this champion for content like PvP arena, one set that is awesome early time when she was very popular, when Mitrala was not in the game, she was one of the best champions that could do a full team cleanse. One set that worked fine back then was immunity, because by she coming into the battle and already have an immunity on her, that means you cannot debuff her, right? When the enemies do their big hits, put their decreased defense, put their weaken and all that, she does not get it. Of course, immunity should also be built with high resistance. That's a PvP build right there. Immunity and high resistance. So even her immunity cannot be removed. That gives her an opportunity to take a turn and then use the A2 and cleanse your entire allies and then allow them to take a turn. So she used to be a menace, best known for that purpose in PvP arena. So this is the set you need for that purpose. But for the content like the Hydra, where I'm going to be using this champion, or Sand Devil Necropolise, this set no longer is viable for that content. So I've also seen this champion being used in the Iron Twins Fortress when that content came out and the boss was hitting so hard. She was there doing her revive on death and all that stuff. So that's one of the set that was useful and might still be useful. Shield set is always useful on a champion like this that has good HP stats. 18k base stats HP right there is good, so it's easy to pump her HP really up high there. That's why I have a total stats of HP of 68k, almost 70k if I do a little bit of glyphing. And check out the defense. I wanted to make sure she's not a champion that goes first down, so I put a little bit of almost 4k defense on her. Not required. 3k 25 is fine. The HP is something that should be getting up to 90k in a champion like this, so the heals are bigger. No crit rate, no crit damage, because I'm not trying to get damage out of her. She's just there as a full support role, not a hybrid role at all. No accuracy needed, but if you need to use this champion for the Hydra, maybe 300, close to 400, 500 resistance, especially for the Sand Devil, that maybe resist will be needed for that content also, depending on how you want to build that. So remember, the more resistance you put, the less HP you might have in your build, or less defense. You have to sacrifice something, or even less speed. So I'm currently sitting at almost 260 speed right there, allowing her to take numerous turns, even sometimes faster than the Sand Devil's boss, right? That's the content I built her for. So remember, this champion will not only serve me in that content, she can serve you in the early game dungeon. Any dungeon you need a revive on death or a healer, right there, she'll be there. Also the cleanse. I'll test her in a dragon run, so we'll see her in that content also. You've seen my stats, you've seen how I built her, and recommended artifact set that you can put on her. I'm using Relentless because I want to take her numerous turns. Early game players go for speed sets, and then for PvP content, if you want that, maybe in your 3v3 arena, you want to go with this type of set that has high resist. So she's awesome for that. For Masteries, like I said, full support champion right here, so I don't need to go towards the offense tree at all. I'm building her to be a full support role, and that's why I went towards the support tree and this defense tree right here, allowing her to come to timely intervention and has atometer feel fast enough whenever somebody is going down in their HP. So this is one of the best ones for her also, because has a chance of placing block debuff buff on this champion when stun, which I mean, not well, through fear or fear that she places on herself expires, so she'll place this buff on herself. Another one that is very useful for her is this chance to extend the duration of any buff cast by this champion. Although it will not increase the duration of revive on death, it will still be for 1 turn revive on death. It will increase the duration of the block debuff buff that she places on your allies, so that's extremely useful. All this and support 3, all this is giving her HP and more healing and more healing. Anything that will add to the healing is what I selected right here. So if you're building up for maybe only the Hydra, you might want to go towards the offense tree, because of course any champion you have in the Hydra who brings a little bit of War Master damage is useful, but I wanted her to not focus on damage and go full support. That's why. Check out Airhead's website for other type of masteries that you want to put on this champion, depending on where you use her, as a full cleanser, high resist champion, or damage champion. So check out the masteries on Airhead's website. I went with this one from that content also. For blessings, I went towards this chain breaker, right, that also at the start of this champion stuns has a chance of removing any stun, freeze, fear. Remember, that fear she places on herself is still a problem that I don't like, so that's why I selected chain breaker. Maybe this can help her. It's a low chance, 10% chance of removing the debuff. It's still a low chance, but maybe by the time I get it a little bit high to 6-star level of ascension in 2026, maybe by then this will be useful enough for me to have a 20% chance of filling this champion's turn meter, 25% chance of removing debuff, 40% chance of filling turn meter. So by then this blessing will be useful. For now, I'll just stick with the 10% chance of removing that fear debuff she places on herself. Alright, I've shown you the masteries, her artifacts, on all that good stuff. It's time for us to take Skytouched into some content and test her out. Like I said, the content I built her for right now, and where a lot of people brought her out of the vault for, was for the Sand Devil Necropolise. I built her all this while, but I didn't really like the way she performed in my Sand Devil team. So that's why you've not seen me showcase her since then until now, that I'm actually looking for epic champions to do a champion guide on. So she was a champion that is built and sitting right there. I'm still beating stage 11 and she is right here in the team. I took out one other champion in order to put her in here, this other epic champion who does heal for everybody, but she maybe will help me in this team. Let's see what she brings to the team. Remember, you can put some team setup or presets right there, depending on which skill you want her to use first. Most people start her off with the revive on death when they know the Sand Devil will do his big hits. But if you know you will sleep in that first turn, you might not want her to open with her revive on death. Let me show you what I mean. Like, my team will put that boss to sleep, so there is no reason for her to start the battle with revive on death. So I'll tell her not to use this skill first. Let her open with her A1. I think that's be better for me. All right, let's do a single sample run of this. I should have put her in the leader slot so she has more HP, but I put my revive champion right there in case everybody goes down. My revive champion, what's her name now, can revive herself from death. All right, let's just do one battle from Sand Devil and I'll go do a dungeon run. I'm not going to be showing her in Hydra content because it's going to be a similar run like this. So I did put this boss to sleep, so there was no need for her to open the battle with her revive on death. So most champions or most teams who are not putting the boss to sleep in the first hit, in the first turn, see, she just used it now, even if it's not needed. But you want her to use this revive on death. It's for 2 turns though. I said it's for 1 turn. It's a 2-turn revive on death. See, that's the big hit. And did he have it on him? I don't know what brought him back to life. Was it revive from other champion or himself? Let's see. Put him to sleep again. Nah, it don't work. He has 1 more turn where he cannot be put to sleep. I'm looking at the heals, her passive heals. Let's see. We didn't really focus on her heals. That's it. 22k heal. Is that what I saw? Let's take a second look at that. Well, see, revive on death brought my Geo right back to life. So that's what she's just here in the team for. Making sure that... Okay, let me see her do a skill now when this boss is asleep, because that's when we want to see the big heals. Come on, don't wake him up yet. Yes, 20k, 22k heal. I tell you, this champion is a good healer. Now, how many champions do you know in raid that has a passive that can do this high amount of heals right here on a team? So, of course, when this boss is asleep and you do these heals, that's when you'll be able to, you know, restore your lost HP. But Geo is still bugged. His lost HP is not being restored even while the boss is asleep. I don't know when raid or Plarium is going to fix that bug for Geomancer especially, but it's getting annoying that the champion cannot be having his HP restored even when the boss is asleep. Kind of annoying. Okay, boss is asleep again. Let's see her passive. Don't wake him up yet. And that's her taking a turn. 28k heal right there. But their HP is still not being restored even while the boss is asleep though. So it felt like she was not doing a lot in this battle, but she is. I made sure that she was my only main source of healing. That's why I brought her in right here. She's the only main source of healing. Well, besides this champion that is doing 8k heals right there, she's the main source. So I could take out my other healer who is in the middle slot and still have her being the revive champion. Although you can't really predict when this revive on death will happen. It's working in my favor right now, but sometimes she will use the revive on death on the wrong time, and then when you need it, somebody goes down and it's not on them. That's why it's for 2 turns, so it's most likely will be available if you time it correctly. So let me run just one dragon run to see what she can bring in that type of general content, so you know it's not only Sand Devil that she works in. But that's where a content where you know a lot of people will go down due to the boss big hits. That's what she brings to that type of team. So let me quickly do a sample run of her in I didn't put together the team fast enough, but okay, I put it together. I'll use the same team. Let me just use the same team, but take out who? Skytouch is not needed here. I want to make sure she's the only healer in the team. And then I should have set it first before I start the battle. Let's just do it the good old-fashioned way of having big nukes with what's her name? I'm looking for my decrease defense champion. There she is. I don't need this dude. I need a big nuke champion. I mean, it's just a Dragon 20. There's no need for me to be this selective. Let me just select random champions to go in here and do big hits. Like, okay, Dashi Ronda. Let's just, for purpose of putting a champion who is squishy, put in somebody who is extremely, who's probably gonna die to the waves, decrease defense and weaken. So I don't even need this champion. Cold Heart. Random team right there that I'm putting together. Maybe more attack right here. So maybe somebody can take damage. I didn't even bring in a poisoner, but I just want to test the first wave and the second wave to see if she can keep this team alive, being the only support healing champion on the entire team right now. Skytouched Shaman is not a champion I've ever used in the game, early game, up till now when the Sand Devil Necropolise came or launched. That's what made a lot of us bring her out of the vault. You see what right there? She put that stuff on herself. The fear and the slow speed, because she's faster than everybody else in this team. She did the cleanse though. She did the cleanse. And I'm waiting for her to do a little bit of healing from the passive. But this team is too OP and they're hitting so hard. That's the passive right there. I didn't see the number of heals. I want to see how much heal she does. 8k heals right there on that passive. So it's based on how much HP she has lost, remember. So right now it's 8k, so the more HP she loses, the more the heals. See, now it's 13k. See how much healing she will do next now when she takes a turn again. Come on, don't nuke them down yet. I want her to take another turn. She's been targeted. Okay, she's about to take a turn again. Let's see how much heal she does. And that's 29k heals right there. All these heals she did, you see how low she is? She did not add any single healing to herself. And that's where I think another healer needs to be with her in the team, or you need to put her in a set that adds a little bit of healing to her, or maybe one of those regen sets, so she can be regenerating her own healing for herself when she's doing all these 29k heals right here. The more HP she loses, the more healing she does. 29k heals all over. That's almost the HP of Cold Heart or this other Royal Guard on my team. 29k. Maxing their HP right there for them. So this champion is awesome. You might also want to put her in this one of these sets that keeps her alive. What do you call this set now? I forgot. That puts her on unkillable, gives her an extra chance to stay alive longer. Maybe that will also keep her alive. But a reviver will do well right here, like what's her name now? Our good old fashioned barbarian reviver that we always use in all our teams with the stun. That champion might be a good one to run with her in dungeons, so that champion can bring her back to life when she goes down. So you know who I'm talking about, right? Let me just quickly check from the barbarian faction. Any reviver will go along well with her, so that when she goes down, the run doesn't just becomes a little bit dicier. I'm talking about, well, definitely not Arbiter. Let me go to the faction of the barbarian. I can't remember her name. Seal the Drake, of course. So Seal the Drake will be a perfect pair with her, because you need somebody to be giving her back some healing, bring her back to life when she is doing all this much damage. So the same thing she brings to the dungeon, and the same thing she brings to the Iron Twins Fortress, the same thing she brings to the Sand Devil Necropolise. Now it's a little bit different for the arena, because the main thing she's here for is that cleanse. I couldn't find a team that has a bunch of debuffs that will put it on us. These ones, they don't have this. Is just nuking teams. They're just gonna nuke us down. No debuffs right here. Let me click refresh again. Okay, this team does have some debuff right here. So you want to go for a team, like maybe a team that will go second, I guess, and she is replacing Mitrala. So usually if you have Mitrella in your team 1 in 3v3 arena, you might want to have Skytouched in your team 2, because they do perform a similar role, although Mitrella is more easier to build with higher resist because of her accuracy turns into resistance, right? But this champion can be just built in immunity for the purpose of this PvP content. So I'm just gonna run one PvP battle, and hopefully then they don't nuke us down in the first instance. So let's see. Of course they're gonna be faster than us, so we do have some debuffs on us. Let's see when she takes her turn. My Duchess is in that set that makes her stay alive a little bit longer, and this is what she brings to the team: full cleanse. So even if they're going to nuke us down now or try to take us down, we will have a chance of surviving because of that revive on death on 2 turns. So besides the 2 turns, you also have the chance of staying alive and bringing yourself back to life if they do nuke you down. I'm hoping this champion can take a turn and nuke me down. So let me not nuke him. Let me just try to go ghost mode again. Ghost mode. I want him to take a turn actually. More ghost mode. Nuke. Well, he didn't manage to kill anybody, but if he did kill anybody, they'll just be brought back to life. That's what she's good for. See how much HP she brought back to Duchess after taking her passive. Awesome champion right there. Alright, that's what she brings to the team. Hopefully, if you have this champion stored in your vault, you'll now see many areas where you can use her in PvP content as a champion who does the cleanse and big heals for you, and also that revive on death for 2 turns, which means if anybody goes down, well, not to a fully that will block revive, because block revive cannot mitigate revive on death. So to other champions who will just go in there and nuke you, she can bring you back to life and have an opportunity to go again, besides doing that cleanse for you that is needed. So that's what she's there for. For 3v3 arena, maybe if you already have Mitrella, you can use her as a second team in 3v3. So I will not be showing you Doom Tower content or Clan Boss content or even the Hydra content, because she does the same thing. As the heads are putting debuffs on you, she's cleansing she's doing big heals. You can see how much heals she's doing in content everywhere. But remember, you need somebody else to keep her alive. You need somebody else to revive her. You need somebody else to heal her. She doesn't heal herself, and a revive on death is not gonna help her. I don't think so. So I think I paired her really, really well with that champion that brings people back to life with that passive. Before I end it, let me just show you that champion. Besides Seal the Drake, I think she pairs well with Gotika Neri because of that passive revive also. Crazy revive, and she's already in good set that. So maybe this is the type of set that you need on your Skytouched Shaman. Alright, that's my guide for this champion. Remember, I built her solely for that dungeon content, Sand Devil Necropolise, and now I'm beginning to appreciate her more in other content. She will be awesome in Faction Wars, of course, because that's a great content that you need revivers for. So let me know in the comments how you built your Skytouched Shaman and what content you use her on in the most. Right now, she's only featuring in my Sand Devil Necropolise. I would love to show her off in some other content, but that's the only place I use her right now for, or some other Doom Tower content that requires special champions for special factions, maybe for secret rooms maybe. Alright, help me hit like in this video, comment below which champion you want me to do a guide on or show the spotlight on, and of course I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button also. Later guys.